Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. This one is another community lot, and honestly this one I'm pretty sure I already made a video for, and I can't find the video, like the edited part where I have a voiceover and all that good stuff, and it's fully edited and finished, and all I could find is a partially edited video, so here I am doing a voiceover for this again. I don't know what happened. I don't know when these things happen. I don't know what I do. I'm just stupid, so things like that happen. And the only reason why I realized it was because I was actually editing another video that relates back to this one, and I was checking just to make sure that I had this one out already, and I didn't. And I also didn't have an edited version of it, so I was like, huh, alright, well, I guess I'll do that now. So, here we are. Anyway, explanation of something you probably wouldn't have never known if I didn't tell you, but you know what? I'm truthful to you guys, and I'm honest. I'm stupid. So, here we are with this build. So, this one is next to the Sweet Tooth Creamery, which I know is already on the channel, and a few of you have, definitely know y'all have seen it because I've gotten comments on that video and likes and stuff like that, and it's up on the gallery and all that good stuff. So, this is right next to it, and I mentioned in the Sweet Tooth Creamery that, you know, I was just sort of playing around with the outside of it, and I put like those little planter areas in it. And once I was building this one, I wasn't really sure where I was fully going. It is a nightclub bar type thing. For the most part, most of these builds, when I'm taking what was an area that was supposed to be in my main save, and I'm just redoing the building. So, for the most part, there's a few of them that I do change, because there's some lots that I really don't use much, or I don't use at all, like a library. I don't have a library. Because most of my Sims, like the point of, I mean, it's sort of sad, because this is real life too. But the point of a library is to go and read books, get on the internet, and things like that. And for the most part, all of my Sims have a bookshelf and computers at their houses, just because in Sims, and even in real life, they're getting to a point where it's almost, you have to have those things at your house to do a lot of stuff. So I don't see the point of a library, but like there's a few lots that I make sure that I at least have one of, or so on. There's some lots that I have multiple of, like restaurants and nightclubs and bars, because my Sims actually use those a little bit more often, and I like having different options and things like that. And I would imagine that, you know, even if it's not necessarily the look of a place, in real life people sometimes have a favorite place to go. And it varies why. For some people, it's simply because they went there a lot when they were, like, just talking about parks and everything, not just referring to nightclubs and bars when I say this, but, you know, when you was little, you went there a lot, so, you know, you have this connection to it from when you was young. Or when you move into a new town or something like that and you start making friends, it's one of the first places you go out together, and it's the one that you go out often. And, you know, you just sort of get used to these, so it may not be the prettiest place, it may not be the most known place, but every once in a while gets to a point where they're like, there's one place that is one of the go-tos for, them going out. So I like having options when it comes to certain venue types, which the nightclubs, the parks, the bars, those are honestly probably the huge restaurants as well. Those are probably the huge ones that I like having various. I don't like having the lounges as much, just because for me, my Elder Sims, I don't have many of them, but even in real life, Elder Sims, they go out, but they don't go out too many places. The most places that, at least in my opinion, where I live from, it's usually just places like stores and restaurants that you really see elders go out. You don't really see them going out at a place unless it's like a hall that has bingo. Like like an area that allows bingo every Thursday night. So That should be an option. That would be something great for elders don't have, like, there's not a lot for elders to really do. Like, once my Sims turn into elders, I don't play with them as much. Which is why I don't like many of them turning into elders. But anyway, so, and no, elders just show up at lounges a whole lot, and I don't really need my young adult Sims, like, meeting elders. Like, occasionally okay, but most of the time they're out to either find someone to hang out with that night, or, you know, maybe start a relationship with, or just be friends. And usually young adults and elders are not gonna instantly click unless they're family. So that's why I don't normally do lounges. But anyway, back onto this particular build. As you can see, I did do a few ideas around the side of the building, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I want to try to experiment and do a few different things here and there. On my builds, I don't want to try to do the same thing that I always do. I feel like in some degree I still do, but I'm trying to get out of that. So originally I was going to try to make like the whole outside of it glass. Like not like there was like a section of glass that had lights in it so that you could see through two like window panes. Like there'd be like two windows on each side and there'd be lights in the middle. But then I decided I didn't really like that idea. And I finally went with like this water feature going around it. And the reason why I did purple and yellow, because those light fountains emit light to a certain degree, and the bigger ones are actually the purple and yellow ones, but I sized them down so you didn't see them, and I was trying to find a way to cover them, so I just covered them with regular white, clear fountain ones, but I didn't make them as big. So that's the point of why they're that way, because I thought the purple and yellow looked obnoxious in the actual like water. I wish there's a way that you can pick like the watercolor and the light emitted from it, but necessarily the base of it didn't have to be that color, because it just seems like it would be a better thing not to. But I did go with the color scheme of purple and yellow, and like I said, I really remember doing a voiceover for this because I remember talking about this. I think I've had at least 3 or 4 builds on the channel since like October-ish that the main primary colors were purple and yellow, and it's because they're complementary colors and they're my favorite complementary color set. Some people think they're a little crazy together, which I did just say that in the water thing it looked obnoxious, but that was mainly just because of how many there was and the rotating colors on and off, and it was in the water. But honestly, I think purple and yellow are the prettiest of the complementary colors. Like red and green is pretty too, but it reminds me too much of Christmas, and you know, I like Christmas, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be thinking of Christmas year round. So if I was going to a bar or a club or something like that's around this nature of what I'm building right now, I don't want its theme to be red and green when I'm going to it in like May or September. So, you know, that's not a complimentary color that I put together too often, just because of that. And then the other is blue and orange. And I don't have a problem with blue and orange together. It's just, I don't know, it's not my thing. Of course, you know, orange is not one of my favorite colors. It grows on me a little bit as I got older, and I mainly like it with yellow and red, which, you know, they're all sort of, orange comes from yellow and red. So anyway, but that's mainly when I like orange the most, is when it's with those colors. And though I like blue's not necessarily one of my favorite, and I prefer the lighter blues versus the actual true blue, which is more on the darker side. So, I'm getting way too in-depth about this, but this is just like my little art side coming out here with those. But yeah, so purple and yellow are my favorite complementary colors. I think they look so pretty together and I love them. But I realized that I did it a whole lot. So the builds, I think this was the last build I did with those colors, because it's like I need to stay away from those colors together. Not necessarily meaning that those colors aren't in a build at all. Like, there are builds that I do have purple and yellows in, but they're not, like, the main colors, or, one of them is, but not the other, so it's along that line. But, yeah, that's sort of the theme of it. And as you can tell, I'm doing these little planter things. I decided, when I was trying to figure out what to do on the outside of this building, I was like, you know what? I did those little cool planter things out in the front of the Sweet Tooth Creamery, and in my world, they're right next to each other. And I was like, why don't I try doing it in front of this? And I've since decided that that was sort of going to be a theme in this neighborhood, was these little front planters. Now this build is going to be up on the gallery for you to download if you want. Of course, you don't have to put it in Oasis Springs, which is where mine is. You also do not have to download the 3 other community lot builds that is going to have that theme of having the planters in the front. You either can remove the planters, or you can add planters to the other builds that you have near this if you do want that to be a theme. But I thought it was a little neat idea to sort of do and actually get the rest of the buildings, like all 4 of these buildings that are in this little area of Oasis Springs, to sort of be united and have a cohesive theme. So that's what I went along with. They all have planters in the front of them. They're different shapes and different plants in them, or like done a little bit differently. Like they look similar but different all at the same time. So it's like each place got to have these planters, but they get to have their own spin or take on the planters. So I thought it was a cool idea, interesting idea to unify the area, like this neighborhood and stuff like that. So I really, really like that, and hope you do too. Now, that was one of the points that when I was talking, I remember I was saying in the next build that's going to be a part of this little strip here, I was talking about those planters, and that's when I was like, wait, I need to make sure that I actually got the club out. And apparently I didn't, though I remember doing this video. But anyway, you know, I'm just gonna keep getting mad at myself because I can't figure out what in the world I did with it. And now I'm experimenting with the roofs. I actually do change those bottom roofs at some point, because I started experimenting and I do like this little design on the top, and I'm like, you know what, these bottom pieces I don't think fit with this top design. And I sort of like the top design with like the little crossing section, and I didn't want to put like the cross right in the middle, like the X in the middle. So, because again, my artist side come in. Asymmetry is a little bit usually more presentable and better and catching to the eye than symmetry. Symmetry is nice though. Like having symmetry is good, but you need asymmetry at the same time. And usually, like, your main feature or your main aspect, you want it to be asymmetrical. Like, when taking a photo, you don't really normally want your subject right plane in smack dab in the center. You want it to be off a little bit. But that again is just my art school coming back in me. So I didn't want to do, like, the actual center X. I wanted to, put it off to the side. There is a water fountain. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet, but there it is. There's a hole missing in the water fountains. So I've already uploaded this to the gallery. I haven't made it, like, I've uploaded it to my library and it's ready to go. Like, I've wrote in the stuff and everything, and as soon as this video goes live, I'm gonna upload it. Just know that that one little water fountain is missing. All you literally have to do is place one there. But I'm sorry, I didn't realize that until editing the video. And I was like, oh, that is bothering me. It's like it's missing a tooth. That is literally was like my first instinct when I saw that. It's missing a tooth. But too late. So but yeah. And the way I did this, the downstairs is going to be like the little dance nightclubby area, but most nightclubs always have like sitting areas and a bar or something like that. So the bar is actually upstairs and the dance area is downstairs. I do a sunken floor area for where I put the DJ booth and the dance floor and everything like that. So it's like down in this little setting, and there's a few little sitting areas along the edges downstairs. I couldn't do a whole lot downstairs just because of the just because of the fact that this sunken floor is taking up most of the area downstairs. But this is supposed to be the feature of the whole place, is the dance floor, so I wanted the downstairs mostly to be focused around that dance floor. There's just a few seats and things like that around the edges and the corners. I think I add those little tables that you can technically put food on, and that's me thinking from the perspective as if for some reason you decide to have a club outing, or you have like a party or something there, which I know not all, like I think birthday parties and stuff like that can go most places. I know not all party venues can go everywhere. Granted, I have found a mod that allows you to do any party at any venue, which is great. So I have that now, because sometimes you like the it technically wouldn't be a house party, but the way a house party is set up and like the theme of a house party or whatever is a lot easier to do for like miscellaneous parties that, you know, Sims doesn't have a name for, or you're just wanting to do it. So that one, being able to pick it to be wherever it's at, is nice to do that, because I don't want to have to pick a birthday party or like a wedding or something like that, because those have a specific thing that the end goal, versus a house party is just sort of getting together with friends and enjoying time together. So I like being able to put that one anywhere. And I say way too much. Bleh. So yeah, anyway, that's something else. So, but I did put those there that if you were for some reason doing like a party or something like that, and they wanted food, and they didn't want the bar food, maybe, you know, you called ahead or you brought food or something like that. So those are there that you can place food on or whatever, and you just click it and put the food that you want. I do go in this, turn it into night, as you can see, and the main point of this was to actually see how well the place lit up. And my reason for that is, like, sometimes I do check it on certain places just to see how it is, but because this is a nightclub, you're normally going to be coming to this place late into the evening, into the night. You're not going to be seeing it, well, I mean, you will be seeing it in the day if you're going to, like, the Sweet Tooth Creamery, or whatever lot you have next door to it, or, you know, if you're just passing by and you're going to one of those lots somewhere around it, you would see it during the day. But if you're specifically going to this one, and technically it can be set up as a bar. Some of these I check to see if they can be set up as multiple things if they're close to them. And I also think it's nice to have that versatility in them. But, so I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, this one can be a bar or a nightclub, whichever you prefer it to be. For me, I have it set up as a nightclub. And nightclubs, again, you're going to be seeing them late. So I want it to light up. I want it to stick out from when you're walking at night. Because imagine it, because like I try to add like a little realism aspect while still trying to get it in the bounds of what Sims can do. So like when some people build stuff and they make stuff to where Sims cannot access them, or it has no purpose to the Sim, I don't normally like doing that too much, just because I want the lot and the house, whatever it may be, to be usable in actual gameplay and make sense and still look on the realistic side. So, which is why I never add carports or like garages in any of my builds. The closest I would get to that is if I made it like a storage area. And, you know, I might try to start doing that, because I do feel like cars is possibly a thing that is coming. So many people want them, and they're so talked about and everything like that, and it seems like they're starting to include more vehicle-related things in some of the stuff, so I feel like it is a pretty big chance that cars are coming. So I don't want to have to edit all my houses to add car garages or parking lots. I mean, I will, but I don't want to, but I will. And if cars do come back, I want the ability to be able to teach the teenagers to drive. That was one of my favorite things that cars have ever had, was the fact that you can teach a teenager how to drive. That was like so great and so realistic, and I loved that little element. Like, it wasn't anything big, but I loved it a whole lot. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We're not gonna worry about that right now. So, but yeah, what was I even saying? See, that's what I do. I get off my track of mind, and I can't remember what I was actually even talking about. Oh yeah, right. back to like the realism part. But yeah, I was sort of imagining like if you're walking out in town with friends and like maybe you went somewhere else, went to one of these other lots nearby, or maybe you're just, maybe there's like a neighborhood farther off and you just walked, or you're driving by and you're trying to find something to do with your friends and it's getting late at night and this building is lit up in all these pretty colors. That's gonna catch your eye, and that's what a nightclub would want to do, because it is a nightclub. It wants you to come to it at night. So that's why I had turned it to nighttime, so that I could see how well it lit up and how pretty it looked at night at the same time. If I wanted to get really crazy, I could have put a bunch of lights, but I did not put a bunch of lights because, yeah. And if I would have had the, I think I didn't, yeah, Get Famous wasn't out when I was building this, but I could have put, like, spotlights on it, too, if I wanted to, but, we're not gonna go back and put the spotlights. That's a little overdone, and I feel like Oasis Springs wouldn't, well, in my head, maybe it would, because in my head, Oasis Springs is the closest one to Del Sol Valley. I sort of almost want to draw, like, a little map of how I think things are actually laid out, because I imagine that all these worlds are actually a part of a big world and they're all connected. So every time they add a new world, I imagine where it fits with the rest of them. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I do. So they're all connected. Like, you see these roads heads, it maybe look like it's heading out of Oasis Springs, and it may be, but it's heading into Del Sol Valley, or it's heading into another place. So I imagine, I picture where all these places actually, like, are connected. So maybe Oasis Springs would have spotlights, because if it's close to Del Sol Valley, that means it's the closest to, like, the, like, whole celebrity area. So maybe, actually. But anyway, this video is actually getting close to the end. I actually basically talked all the way through this video, and I might as well just continue on talking at this point, because it was only around 23 minutes long or so. But anyway, I really hope you like this build. If you did, make sure you hit that lovely like button and subscribe if you're not already. Also, comment down below, let me know how you thought of it. Do you like it? What is your favorite part about it? So on, so forth, all that good stuff. Also, make sure you have that little notification bell clicked so that you're notified when another video goes live. This is up on the gallery. You can find it by either searching Club Nightshade. It is going to be set as a nightclub because, like I said, that's how I'm putting it as in my main save, but I'm almost 100% sure that it can be a bar too if you would prefer it to be a bar. Also, you can, of course, search my origin ID, which is ArtisticGamer7, or you can do hashtag ArtisticGamer7. I try to do as many options so that it's easy to find, because I know that sometimes the gallery doesn't always pop up with stuff, and it's really weird how it does that. Like, something's there. It is there, but you can't find it for some reason by searching what it's be, so I try to get multiple ways for you to be able to find it. And if you forget the name of the place or my gallery name, I will have that down in the description below. The screenshot should be appearing here very soon. But yeah, so that's always going to be down in the description of my builds. I think there was a few builds a while ago that I forgot to put those in. But for the most part, any of my builds, you can go look down in that description below, see the name of it, and also see my origin ID so that you can go and download them. Most of my builds I do not make with any CC to at least begin with. Maybe once I put it in my main save, I'll add CC. But this one obviously does not have CC. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed it. I like how it turned out, and I already have this into my main save, so I'm happy. I'm liking that even if they're not like up to the quality of some other ones or not extravagant like some other people's builds, I like that my main world is having a lot of my builds, and it's making me very proud. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!